Myself K. Lakshmi. Today I discussing about the in the last class I already discussed the syllabus. Once again I repeat that. Here, wave optics. So in wave optics there are 3 chapters. One is and the second one is diffraction, and third one is polarization. In interference, we discuss about the principle of superposition, interference of light, interference in thin films and their applications, colors in thin films, Newton's rings, and a determination of wavelength and refractive index. So here in this chapter, we have also do experiments in our lab. That is interference in thin films, which is wedge method. And also we done experiment basing on Newton's rings. So here the entire chapter is depends upon the main concept, principle of superposition. So here the principle of superposition is nothing but by the superimposition of 2 waves, then the resultant wave displacement is the sum of the displacements of the individual waves. So here interference of light. So in interference of light, it is works on the principle of superposition. Then what is the interference of light? Whenever 2 light waves are superimposed, then the resultant new wave have modified amplitude. So this modified amplitude is nothing but interference. And next we discuss about the interference in thin films, colors in thin films. Colors in thin films is an best example is whenever we observe colors on a soap bubble when it is observed in a sunlight. So that is the phenomena of colors in thin films. And also Newton's rings. So this experiment is demonstrated by Newton's. That's why this experiment is named as Newton's rings. And the second chapter is diffraction. So here what is the diffraction? Diffraction is nothing but bending of light rays. Here in this chapter we discuss about the types of diffractions, that is Fresnel and Fraunhofer diffraction. And also we discuss about the Fraunhofer diffraction due to single slit, double slit, N slits. Here slit is nothing but an aperture. And also in the laboratory we do the experiment basing on diffraction grating. So here the grating is nothing but it is a glass plate which consisting of n number of slits. So that is meant by grating. So here in the laboratory we also do the experiment basing on this diffraction grating. And the third chapter is polarization. So in this chapter we discuss about the what is the definition of polarization, types of polarization, and also polarization by reflection, refraction, and double refraction. And here it is a Nicol prism. So Nicol prism is nothing but which is used in the purpose to convert an unpolarized light into polarized light. So that is the that is the use of Nicol prism. That means simply by using Nicol prism, we polarize. It is used as a polarize as well as an analyzer. And also here there is another topic, that is half wave and quarter wave plate. So here in this first unit there are 3 sub chapters, that is interference and diffraction and polarization. So this is very important topic regarding our exam point of view. So here, interference and diffraction, polarization are simply nothing but properties of light. So this is about the unit 1. And the next chapter is lasers. So unit 2, it consisting of 2 chapters, lasers and optical fibers, or simply it is also named as fiber optics. So here, in lasers, we discuss about what is the characteristics of lasers. Generally, the characteristics of lasers is high intensity, high coherence, high monochromacity, high directionality. Basing on these properties, lasers having an unique characteristics as compared with ordinary light. Ordinary light means general our household purpose lights like tube light, bulb. But it is laser light is quite different characteristics as compared with the ordinary light. So why it has a different properties due to the having different characteristics. So in this chapter we discuss about the what are the characteristics of lasers, and finally in this chapter we discuss about the what are the types of lasers. Generally there are 5 types of lasers, but in our syllabus we have only 2 types of lasers, that is ruby laser and a helium neon laser. So here ruby laser and helium neon laser, we discuss about that. Before we discussing about the production of lasers, we have to know some basic definitions, that is spontaneous and stimulated emission of radiation, Einstein coefficients, and also population inversion, lasing action, pumping mechanism. By knowing all these concepts, then we discuss about the types of lasers, that is ruby laser and helium neon laser. So overall in this chapter we discuss the what are the characteristics of lasers and the types of lasers and applications of lasers. So there are many applications with these lasers, like in keyhole surgeries, and like in to cutting and in metals. There are a lot of applications in various fields, various engineering fields. So that will be discussed in this chapter. So and finally we know the abbreviation of laser. The abbreviation of laser is light amplification or stimulated emission of radiations. And the second chapter is fiber optics. So generally these fibers are used in the purpose to transmit the light from one point to another point, which is used in the purpose of transmission of light, not only light, electromagnetic waves also. So that is the purpose of optical fiber. Now in this chapter we discuss about the what is the principle of optical fiber. Before we discussing about the principle of optical fiber, we have to know the construction of optical fiber. Generally the optical fiber consisting of 3 parts: core, cladding, and buffer jacket. So and next the principle of optical fiber. Optical fiber works on the principle of total internal reflection. That will be clearly in depth we discuss about in the chapter. And also we discuss about the acceptance angle, numerical aperture, classification of optical fiber based on refractive index, and also based on modes. And also here we discuss about the one of the most important application of optical fiber, that is how electromagnetic waves are propagated through the optical fiber, and also various applications in various engineering fields also discussed in this chapter. So overall in the first and 2 chapters are completely based on optics, that means light. So and the next 3rd chapter is quite different. It is basing on quantum mechanics, that means basing on atomic structure, atoms, electrons, like that. So in unit 3, we have again 3 chapters are there. The first one is quantum mechanics, and next second chapter is a free electron theory of metals, and the third chapter is a band theory of solids. So here the first chapter, that is quantum mechanics. Here we discuss about the dual nature of matter. So here the dual nature is nothing but particle having both wave and particle nature. So that is called dual nature of matter. So this nature is clearly explained by first Heisenberg, basing on Heisenberg uncertainty principle. And also we discuss about the a new concept, that is wave function. This wave function is explained clearly about the dual nature of the particle, and also it explains the particle position also. Now in this chapter we discuss about the what is the wave function and what are its significance and properties. Here and next we discuss about the very important topic in basing on exam point of view, that is Schrodinger's time independent and Schrodinger's time dependent wave equations. And finally, the last concept is the particle in a one-dimensional infinite potential well. So these 3 topics are very important basing on exam point of view. That is Schrodinger's time independent and a dependent wave function, and also particle in a one-dimensional infinite potential well. And the second chapter in this unit is free electron theory of metals. Overall, these chapter explains about the how the electron in the metal, explains the entire properties of the metal. Basing on electron characteristics, it decides the properties of the material. Generally, we know that outermost electrons, that means they are called as valence electrons, or they are also named as free electrons. So for any metal, characteristics is based on these free electrons. That means how the valence electrons bonding with other elements, how the properties of free electrons are changes, then automatically basing on these properties, the entire metal properties are changes. So the main key point for discussing about the properties of the metals is nothing but free electrons. That's why here the characters of free electrons was explained basing on 2 theories. The first one is a classical free electron theory, and the second one is a quantum free electron theory. So basing on these 2 theories explains about the some properties of electrons, but still these 2 theories does not explain some properties of metals. That means it has some success and that means some merits and demerits are there. So in this chapter, we discuss about the classical free electron theory and quantum free electron theory. And also we discuss about the next topic is Fermi-Dirac distribution. So simply this is the function which explains the how the electrons are distributed in the energy states. So this is a probability function. And the next topic is the density of states. And also we discuss about the Fermi energy. Fermi energy is nothing but it is the last energy level. That means it is the highest energy level, which is below all the energy levels are completely empty with electrons. and above all the electrons are completely filled with electrons. So that is the Fermi energy level. And the next chapter is band theory of solids. In this second chapter, we discuss about the metals. And in this chapter, we discuss about the solids. Whatever we discuss the electron nature, whatever we discuss the electron nature in these two chapters, but still it have some drawbacks. To cover these drawbacks, and finally the theory is Bloch theorem, which explains clearly about the properties of electrons and how the properties of electrons are varies the properties of the metals are clearly discussed in basing on this Bloch theorem. And the next concept is Croning-Penny model. And here we discuss about the energy and propagation vector, how the energy varying along with propagation vector. And also we discuss about the how the potential is varying with the propagation vector. Here we discuss about the effective mass of electron. So here and also classification of crystalline solids. Generally, solids are classified into three types: conductors, semiconductors, insulators. That is also discussed in this chapter. And finally, a concept of hole. What is the hole? Hole is nothing but replacement of electron, or it is completely opposite of electron, opposite charge of electron. So in this chapter, we discuss about the concept of hole. So these three chapters we discuss in this unit, that is quantum mechanics, free electron theory, and band theory of solids. And the fourth chapter is nothing but dielectrics and magnetic materials. So here we discuss the dielectric polarization. In first unit, we discuss the polarization that is basing on optics. Here, this polarization is basing on a material. So there is a lot of difference between in a polarization topic in a wave optics and a polarization in a dielectrics. So here the polarizations are three types: electronic and ionic and orientation polarization. And also here we discuss about the Lorentz internal field and Clausius-Mossotti equation. And also we discuss about the piezoelectricity. So simply here the polarization property is an unpolarized atom to convert it into polarized atom. So that phenomena is nothing but polarization. So for conversion of unpolarized material into polarized material by giving external electric field, or by applying ionic, that means by applying to ions, or due to change of orientation. So here, basing on that, types of polarizations are three types: electronic, ionic, and orientation polarization. And the next chapter is magnetic materials. Before we discussing about the types of magnetic materials, we have to know some basic definitions. What is the magnetic dipole moment, magnetization, magnetic susceptibility, and permeability? Because of that, whenever we're discussing about the classification of magnetic materials is completely based on these definitions, basing on variation of their susceptibility and permeability, the materials are changes. So that's why we have to know the definitions of susceptibility and permeability. And the next concept is origin of permanent magnetic momentum. That means how the magnet characteristics exist in a magnetic material. So that will be discussed in this topic. And the next one is classification of magnetic materials. There are 5 types are there: dia, para, ferro, antiferro, and ferrimagnetic materials. In our lower sections, just to learn about the only 3 types: dia, para, and ferro. But here we have 5 types of magnetic materials. Additional, there are 2 types: antiferro and ferri. And finally, next concept is the domain concept, and also domain concept of ferromagnetism. and domain walls. Here there is an important question, that is hysteresis loop. Hysteresis loop is nothing but how the magnetization of the magnetic material is varying by applying external magnetic field. So external magnetic field ఇవ్వటం వల్ల magnetization character the material ఎలా change అవుతుందో, that will be discussed in hysteresis loop, which was explained by the hysterist. That's why it is named as a hysteresis loop. And also basing on this concept, again, magnetic materials are classified into two types. They are soft and hard magnetic materials. And also here we discuss about the eddy currents, that means the losses of currents in this hysteresis loss. And also we discuss about the various applications in engineering field by using these magnetic materials. So this is about the unit 4. That means simply in unit 4 we have two topics, that is dielectric materials and magnetic materials. And finally the last concept, that is semiconductors and superconductors. In semiconductors we discuss about the introduction. Actually fourth group elements are belongs to semiconductors. So these semiconductors are again classified into two types, intrinsic and extrinsic semiconductor. Intrinsic semiconductors are nothing but pure form of semiconductors, whereas extrinsic semiconductors are nothing but impure form of semiconductors. That means they are doped with the third group and fifth group elements. So that's why by adding some impurities to a intrinsic semiconductor, then this type of semiconductor is nothing but extrinsic semiconductor. So in this chapter we discuss about the density of charge carriers, electrical conductivity, Fermi level, extrinsic semiconductors, density of charge carriers, and also depending upon the Fermi energy level, depends of Fermi energy on carrier concentration. That means how the carrier concentration will be changes basing on temperature. And we discuss about the drifted diffusion current, Einstein coefficient, and also very important topic in on exam point of view, that is Hall effect. So these three are completely one topic, that is Hall effect, Hall coefficient, and applications of Hall effect. It is very important question. And finally the last chapter is the superconductors. Superconductors are nothing but insulators, but at certain temperature they behave as a superconductors. So here we're discussing about the what are the properties of superconductors and Meissner effect. And there are two types of superconductors are there, type 1 and type 2 superconductors. And there are very important questions, that is BCS theory. BCS theory which is explains the how the conductors having superconducting nature at a low temperature, that will be explained by three scientists, that is Bardeen, Cooper, and Schleifer. That's why this theory is named as BCS theory. And here there is one of the application of superconductors which was explained by the scientist Josephson. So here there are two effects, AC effect and DC effect. So this application is discussed as a Josephson effect. And there are another applications, quits. And what are the characteristics of high critical temperature superconductors, or simply high TC superconductors? And what are the various applications of superconductors? So these are the 5 chapters we have to discuss in this SEM.